There is no doubt that the last few months have brought along with it a lot of changes in terms of how we work, how we shop, how we communicate, and for a lot of us, basically our world has been turned upside down by something that none of us could have predicted. But let me ask you something. How are you feeling about everything? About your job, about your finances, about your relationships? If you are currently still employed, then no doubt you're feeling grateful for still having a job and having an income, while so many other people are not in the same boat. So many people have been let go or lost their jobs due to unforeseen circumstances. But maybe you might be feeling something else. Perhaps you might be feeling a little bit guilty for not being let go, or that your company was still able to keep you on in a perfectly secure position. It's perfectly normal not to want to get out of bed and get up and go into work some days. We all experience periods like that. But sometimes it runs a little bit deeper than that, and that's what I really want to get into today. I want to talk about 5 reasons why working a corporate 9-to-5 job may not be for you. But before we dive in, if this video sounds helpful, then give it a thumbs up. And for the best advice on how to transition from a 9-to-5 corporate gig to online entrepreneurship, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of when I post a new video every single week. I heard a stat recently that said 85% of people hate their jobs. And I think that hate is a very strong word. I think that more or less it boils down to people are really unhappy in what they're doing, but they don't know what to do about it. A lot of people that I talk to feel really trapped or stuck in what they're doing, but they just don't really know how to go about finding an alternative path. I think that they feel like their reasoning for feeling that way isn't a bad enough reason, if that makes sense. But how bad do things have to get before you're willing to make that change? Do you really want to get to a point where you're absolutely miserable and you can't stand going into work before you start taking the steps to upskill, learn something different, and make a transition out of the career that you're currently in? Think about it. If you were to start now, how awesome would it be to be living a life where you're perhaps doing something more purposeful, you felt really fulfilled about what you got up and did every day, and you were living a life that you couldn't imagine for yourself? Would you rather be there in 2 years or be in an even more unhappy situation than you're in now? So let's examine 5 reasons why perhaps working in a corporate 9-to-5 job may not be for you. So you dread going to work. As I said before, it's quite normal to be a little bit unmotivated to go to work sometimes, a little bit hard to get out of bed and face the day. But if it runs a lot deeper than that, if you have a feeling of dread and a sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach at the thought of going to your job, whether it be because you have an exploding inbox that you can't keep up with, or maybe it's the amount of work that you're getting allocated, or perhaps it's the boss that you have to work with closely that you really don't get along with. If the thought of going to work makes you feel physically uncomfortable, then that's a sure sign that maybe working in the corporate environment or working a 9-to-5 job isn't for you. Following on from that, if you feel like you have to force yourself to physically be there and show up each day, it's also not a good sign. There's a huge difference between showing up because you have to and showing up because you want to. When you're working on something that you're really inspired by and that you feel very passionately about, it's quite easy to get up and show up every day to do whatever it is that needs to be done. And in fact, it's not hard to spend a lot more hours working on a passion project than it is to show up for a job that you feel really unmotivated and unfulfilled in. The third thing is that you might feel really suffocated physically. Towards the end of my corporate career, I began to feel this sense of being very physically suffocated, and I felt extremely uncomfortable sitting in my chair, just sitting in my chair going to work. And I used to always wondered why I felt that. I couldn't really understand why I was feeling this way going to work every day. And it was because the work that I was doing, I wasn't passionate about it, it wasn't fulfilling for me, and it wasn't the right path for me to be on. And I ignored those signs for so long. And when I look back now, I wish that I had started my journey of working for myself and entrepreneurship a lot earlier. But I guess at the end of the day, everything happens in the time that it's supposed to happen for you on your personal journey. And I'm so glad I recognize those signs and I'm here now. But if you can relate to that and you have that feeling that something just doesn't sit right with you when you have to go to work every day, it's another reason why either the job that you're doing or working in a corporate environment or a 9-to-5 job is really not for you. If you can relate to anything that I'm saying, then leave a comment down below. I know that I'm not the only one that went through this, and as I said before, I talk to so many people who are in the same situation and they just don't know what to do about it. So let me know in the comments. So the next thing is you feel really unfulfilled and unmotivated to do the work that you're doing. You know, I sort of touched on this in the previous points, but when you're doing something that you're not passionate about, that's maybe not in alignment with your values or who you are as a person, or if you're doing a job that you feel like you're just doing because it's a great paycheck or it's something that people expect from you, or you know, it gives you a social status, maybe it's the role that you're doing, then I would really encourage you to take a bit of a deeper look, because those reasons are really not the right reasons to stay in a job when you feel very unfulfilled, unmotivated, and unhappy. The longer you stay in a situation like that, the worse things are going to get. And again, it all comes back to recognizing these things now and taking some steps to change the path that you're going on and really getting ahead for yourself in your own game. Reason number 5, you might already be here, but it's when you're constantly looking for something else or some other way out of what you're doing, that you've reached a point where you've been through a lot of the other things that I've just spoken about and you're really consciously looking for a way to transition away from what it is that what you're doing. So you're seriously doing research on other ways to generate income, other ways to upskill in your spare time, and you're really serious about implementing that exit strategy for yourself and for your future and for your happiness. So those are my 5 reasons why working in a corporate 9-to-5 job might not be for you. I wanted to make this video because I've been through my own journey of being in a really unfulfilled and uninspired corporate 9-to-5 job where I was extremely unhappy. And it wasn't until someone showed me the skills and how I could learn to start my own business online and join the digital economy that I upskilled, and now I run my own business online. So if you're curious to know how I got started and if online business is something that you've been thinking about but you don't really know where to start with it, what your options are, how to upskill in that area, then I'll leave a link below in the description. You just enter your name and email and I'll send you out some free workshops. These are a little different to what I got started with. They're actually more improved. So they have a whole lot of information that will explain to you how to get started online, the different business models, exactly what you need, the potential of what's possible. So if you're interested, head on down to the description and enter your details and I'll be happy to send that out to you. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of when I post a new video every single week. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next one.